The P. Diddy scandal has finally come to light, exposing the dark and twisted reality behind those who shape our culture, from some of the most shocking private gatherings ever documented to secretive encounters with a young Justin Bieber, and even controlling some of the biggest names in entertainment. P. Diddy even hosted his own Love Island getaway, taking people completely off the grid. As he himself put it, "I got an island, it's called Love Island. When you're with me, you disappear for a week." These infamous freak-off gatherings were not only bizarre, but were allegedly tied to bringing down some of the industry's most iconic figures. The situation surrounding P. Diddy is deeply disturbing. Now that he's in custody, we can only wait to see what unfolds next. But the fact that these activities have been going on behind the closed doors of the Hollywood elite for decades shows just how well concealed this lifestyle truly was. Yet finally, the truth is unraveling before our very eyes. P. Diddy hardly needs an introduction. Before his name became infamous for all the wrong reasons, he stood at the pinnacle of society, rubbing shoulders with some of the most powerful celebrities in the world. He had connections everywhere in the music industry, from Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and Snoop Dogg to Biggie Smalls and even Justin Bieber. But this latest case has revealed the twisted reality behind the celebrity elite. The investigation into P. Diddy's activities began in November 2023 when his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura accused him of serious misconduct and filed a lawsuit. The very next day, they settled out of court. His lawyer, Ben Brafman, was quick to clarify that this was by no means an admission of guilt. P. Diddy himself issued a statement wishing Cassandra well in a further attempt to maintain his innocence. However, regardless of the outcome, the stain on his name was undeniable. Cassandra also released a statement thanking her friends and family for their support, though the settlement amount remained undisclosed. To many, it seemed like the case had been closed. P. Diddy had escaped any lasting consequences, or so he thought. Little did he know that this would be the beginning of his downfall, as more accusations and investigations soon followed, leading to his rapid demise. Following Cassie's case, two more lawsuits emerged, both accusing P. Diddy of abuse and misconduct. Joy Dickerson claimed that back in 1991, when she was just 19 and a college student, P. Diddy had drugged her after a date and assaulted her in her own home. Shortly after, another woman, Lizard Gardner, came forward, claiming that she and her friend were drugged and separated into different rooms where both P. Diddy and his associate Aaron Hall acted inappropriately. Lizard was only 16 at the time. The situation worsened when, just a few days after the incident, P. Diddy allegedly showed up at her house, choking her into unconsciousness, worried she might reveal his actions to others. By December 2023, another woman stepped forward with accusations, stating she had been a victim of inappropriate and manipulative behavior orchestrated by P. Diddy and others in his circle. She claimed that Harvey Pierre, the president of P. Diddy's label, flew her from Detroit to New York in 2023, where an incident involving multiple people took place. Disturbingly, P. Diddy reportedly even complained that he couldn't complete the situation until someone fulfilled a strange request for him. The lawsuit included a photograph from that night, showing her sitting on P. Diddy's lap, and she was only 17 at the time. She became the fourth woman to step forward in a matter of weeks. Despite the gravity of these allegations, this time P. Diddy did not settle out of court. Instead, he issued a defiant statement on Instagram declaring, "Enough is enough. I have been silent as people have tried to destroy my character, reputation, and legacy with false allegations. I will fight for my name, my family, and the truth." But despite his strong denial, there were already troubling signs, hinted at by those who had known P. Diddy for years. In a 2016 interview with Howard Stern, Usher subtly alluded to unsettling experiences from his time living with P. Diddy. Usher, who moved in with him at the age of 13, described being exposed to some very curious things. He recalled attending something called Puffy Flavor Camp, which he now recognizes as a highly questionable environment for a young teen. During the interview, Usher talked about P. Diddy's home being filled with women and wild parties. He admitted that at such a young age, he didn't fully understand what he was witnessing. "I got a chance to see some things. I didn't necessarily understand it," Usher said. Stern pressed him further, asking if Usher would ever allow his own son to participate in P. Diddy's so-called flavor camp, to which Usher quickly responded, "Hell no." By February 2024, things took another dark turn. The producer of P. Diddy's album, The Love Album, filed a $30 million lawsuit alleging that he had been drugged and awoke to find himself in an extremely compromising situation involving P. Diddy and two other men. The lawsuit even implicated P. Diddy's son, Justin, claiming that he would bring young girls to their home, where they were allegedly taken advantage of and filmed without their consent. While some photos from the lawsuit were later discredited by an adult film actor who said they were from one of his movie sets. The overwhelming number of accusations made it clear that this was far more than just rumors. P. Diddy, now in the middle of multiple legal battles, struggled to put out these growing fires as more victims continued to come forward. As more accusations surfaced, it became clear that P. Diddy's troubles were only getting worse. His former bodyguard, Gene Deal, came forward in an interview, providing disturbing details about P. Diddy's personal life. Deal revealed that P. Diddy often engaged in secretive, inappropriate activities, which his then-girlfriend was forced to facilitate. She was allegedly made to search online for certain individuals to partake in these unsettling encounters, which were often masked by bizarre rituals to keep identities hidden. By March 2024, things escalated dramatically when P. Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami were raided by Homeland Security. The raid was part of an ongoing investigation into trafficking and other illegal activities. It was said to be prompted by at least 5 victims who had come forward, one of whom was a male who chose to remain anonymous. During the raid, investigators seized multiple items, including P. Diddy's phone and a large number of unusual substances. Over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricants were found at the scene. While it might sound absurd, this discovery only fueled suspicions about the alleged private gatherings that had taken place in these homes. Reports suggest that at these events, women and men were put under the influence of various substances and manipulated into disturbing activities that lasted for days. The raid also saw P. Diddy's sons temporarily detained as federal agents searched the premises. Their mother publicly claimed that the raid was racially motivated and that excessive force was used, but federal officials insisted that the actions were necessary due to the gravity of the allegations. Over the following months, the investigation revealed even more troubling details about the celebrity culture surrounding P. Diddy and his associates. P. Diddy's notorious parties were always known for their excess, but the revelations that followed painted an even darker picture. According to multiple sources, these gatherings were fueled by a dangerous cocktail of substances designed to keep participants going for hours. One particularly infamous concoction, known as Tusi, was said to include a mix of cocaine, ketamine, a muscle relaxant, and other stimulants. In an interview, singer Jaguar Wright described how these substances were used to keep people compliant and energized while also numbing their senses. Jamie Foxx also reportedly attended one of these gatherings and hinted that such events were common among the Hollywood elite. As more allegations surfaced, the scale of what had been happening behind closed doors became disturbingly clear. In late 2023, CNN aired a video that provided further proof of the toxic relationship between P. Diddy and his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. In the footage, Cassie is seen trying to leave a hotel party, only to be violently confronted by P. Diddy. At this point, he had already given her a black eye. Wearing nothing but a towel, P. Diddy is seen pushing her to the ground, kicking her twice, and attempting to drag her back down the hallway. When she resisted, he threw glass in her direction, clearly intoxicated and enraged. Once this video went public, P. Diddy issued an apology, stating that he was disgusted with himself for his behavior both then and now. He admitted to seeking help afterward, claiming he had entered therapy and rehabilitation to address his issues. "I hit rock bottom," he said. "My behavior in that video is inexcusable, and I take full responsibility for my actions." However, despite his apology, the damage was already done. The Los Angeles District Attorney's Office reviewed the footage but ultimately decided not to pursue further legal action, citing that the incident had taken place too far in the past to be prosecuted. They did, however, encourage more victims to come forward. While the video painted a clear picture of P. Diddy's aggressive behavior, it was just the tip of the iceberg. Cassie's lawsuit, which outlined far more horrific claims, exposed a long history of abusive behavior. She described how P. Diddy would frequently fall into violent rages, and she often became the target of his outbursts. Cassie recalled how, on several occasions, she was subjected to brutal treatment behind closed doors. One particularly disturbing claim was that P. Diddy would allegedly drug her and force her into compromising situations with other men while he watched and filmed the entire ordeal. These encounters, later dubbed as freak-offs, were part of a larger pattern of manipulation and control that extended to others within his circle. Cassie attempted to escape P. Diddy's grip in 2018, but it led to further complications. She described how her life took a darker turn, even experiencing a health scare from an overdose. There was also an incident involving rapper Kid Cudi. According to Cassie, she briefly had a romantic relationship with Kid Cudi, which enraged P. Diddy. He allegedly threatened to set Kid Cudi's car on fire, and 2 weeks later it happened. Cudi's car was deliberately set ablaze, adding yet another layer of intimidation and control to P. Diddy's already disturbing narrative. As these accusations continued to surface, the timing couldn't have been worse for P. Diddy. Already under investigation, the mounting pressure from legal battles and public scrutiny made it increasingly difficult for him to maintain any semblance of control. More women and even men began to step forward, sharing their own traumatic experiences. In one particularly shocking case, a Michigan inmate named Derek Lee Smith filed a $100 million lawsuit against P. Diddy for inappropriate behavior dating back to a party in 1997. Derek won the case by default after P. Diddy failed to even show up in court to defend himself. As these accusations snowballed, it became clear that P. Diddy was just the tip of the iceberg in a much larger Hollywood conspiracy. Eminem, known for his raw lyrics and fearless opinions, hinted at this in his 2018 diss track Kill Shot, where he referenced P. Diddy's alleged involvement in the death of Tupac Shakur. The line that had fans buzzing went, "The day you put out hits, the day Diddy admits he put the hit out that got Tupac killed." Though Eminem quickly followed it up with, "I'm just playing, Diddy, you know I love you," many wondered if there was truth behind the seemingly playful jab. Eminem's suspicions seem to echo those of many in the industry, though there has never been concrete proof tying P. Diddy to Tupac's death. Still, the line fueled rumors that P. Diddy was much more involved in the darker side of the industry than the public had ever known. Eminem didn't stop there. He has referenced P. Diddy in other songs, hinting at disturbing events behind the scenes, including the violent incidents with Cassie and the alleged burning of Kid Cudi's car. These references hit a nerve with P. Diddy, who reportedly demanded a public apology from Eminem, believing the rapper had gone too far and was damaging his already crumbling reputation. But it was too late. Eminem's fan base is one of the most loyal in the world, and many listeners took his words to heart. As more and more details came out about P. Diddy's troubling behavior, it was clear that his once glamorous image was now irreparably tarnished. Beyond Eminem's lyrics, new information about P. Diddy's past began to surface. Several people recalled a nightclub shooting in 1999 where P. Diddy and his then-girlfriend Jennifer Lopez were involved. Witnesses reported that an altercation between P. Diddy and a man named Matthew Scar Allen escalated, leading to gunfire in the crowded club. 3 victims were shot, including Natanya Rubin, who was hit in the face. Natanya has consistently testified that she saw P. Diddy fire his gun, though his associate Shine took the fall and was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Natanya's unwavering testimony offered yet another glimpse into the violent and reckless behavior that P. Diddy seemed to get away with time and time again. She even offered to have bullet fragments removed from her skull to use as forensic evidence, but once again, P. Diddy walked away unscathed, with Shine taking the blame. The more we uncover about P. Diddy's life, the clearer it becomes that his public image was a facade hiding a much darker reality. He had managed to navigate the industry with intimidation and manipulation, keeping those around him silent. But with each new testimony, a disturbing pattern emerged, showing how P. Diddy used fear, power, and influence to get away with behavior that should have been exposed long ago. What's particularly unsettling is that P. Diddy seemed to flaunt his power even in casual interviews. In a now infamous 2014 interview with Conan O'Brien, P. Diddy joked about how women at his parties often drank only water. "You gotta keep them there, right?" he said with a laugh, suggesting the need for locks on the doors. At the time, the audience laughed along, unaware of the chilling implications of what he was saying. In hindsight, it was a deeply disturbing remark that hinted at the control he exerted in his private life. This control reached its breaking point on September 16, 2024, when P. Diddy was finally arrested in a Manhattan hotel. The charges were severe: trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, and involvement in illegal activities. His lawyers argued that P. Diddy had planned to surrender voluntarily, but authorities claimed he was trying to evade justice. In another questionable move, P. Diddy handed over his passport to his lawyer, not to the federal government, which only raised suspicions about whether he was preparing to flee the country. Despite his defense team's best efforts, the judge denied his bail, even after an appeal offering $50 million. P. Diddy now faces life in prison if convicted on the long list of charges, including forced labor, kidnapping, bribery, and obstruction of justice. His team had tried to bribe witnesses into silence, but the walls were closing in, and his once glamorous life of lavish parties and celebrity status was crumbling. Now, instead of living in luxury, P. Diddy finds himself confined to a prison cell, a stark contrast to the life he once knew. The The revelation of his alleged actions has shaken the public's perception of Hollywood and the music industry, exposing how disturbing and corrupt parts of this world can be. The Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, where P. Diddy is currently being held, has a notorious reputation. It's the same facility that housed R. Kelly, who faced similar charges, and Jeffrey Epstein, whose life ended under mysterious circumstances. With P. Diddy's second appeal for bail denied, the situation became even more dire. He has reportedly been placed on a watch due to concerns about his mental state. His legal team continues to insist on his innocence, but prosecutors are confident in the airtight nature of their case, believing that the investigation's findings will secure a conviction. Whether P. Diddy is found guilty or not, his career and reputation are irreparably damaged. Those who once considered him a friend and business associate have now distanced themselves from him. Usher, one of his longtime acquaintances, went so far as to delete tweets connected to him, though he denied doing so for that reason. The industry that once embraced P. Diddy has now turned its back on him, and few are willing to speak out, likely fearful of being implicated in the investigation. Even Justin Bieber, who once looked up to P. Diddy as a mentor, has reportedly gone silent, unable to cope with the reality of the accusations. Bieber, who had once collaborated with P. Diddy and shared the spotlight with him, is said to be in shock over the whole ordeal, and rumors suggest there are more dark secrets from their past that may never see the light of day. As more details continue to emerge, a disturbing picture of P. Diddy's influence and control comes into focus. One particularly alarming revelation was how P. Diddy allegedly funded his label, Bad Boy Records. Reports suggest that he would manipulate his guests by spiking their food and drinks, leading to inappropriate and compromising situations. These events were secretly filmed, and the footage was used as blackmail against high-profile attendees, ensuring their silence and continued loyalty. Castle Black, a former associate, recently came forward with claims that he had long known about P. Diddy's disturbing practices. He had been waiting for the right moment to reveal what he knew, but the flood of accusations seemed to open the door for him to share his story. The blackmail and manipulation tactics employed by P. Diddy created a web of deceit that controlled many within the industry, and his fall from grace has exposed just how deep the corruption went. This entire scandal highlights not only the disturbing actions of one man, but also the systemic power brokers pulling the strings behind the scenes in Hollywood and the music industry. For years, P. Diddy operated in plain sight, using his wealth and status to silence those around him. Now the veil has been lifted, and the world is finally seeing the dark truth that had been hidden for so long. As the investigation continues and more victims come forward, it's clear that P. Diddy's case is just one part of a much larger problem. The celebrity world is far more disturbing than most people realize, with a complex system of power, blackmail, and control keeping the truth from surfacing for years. But with each new revelation, people are waking up to the reality of how deep this corruption runs.